Hello everybody, Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg. It is Preakness week, it's NBA playoff week, and it's baseball weekend. We got some big matchups in baseball as well. Good morning, Hank.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I had the over in the Warriors game last night. That was easy. Just how great basketball games. I mean, the other night, with the Bucks and the Raptors, that was an unbelievable game. The final 10 points, they come back, they cover the number by scoring the final 10 points. That's pretty incredible. These some great athletes out there. It's amazing to watch. The news on Durant is I'm not sure we're going to see Durant until maybe the final series, if ever. That injury must be much worse than they said.
Well, they never said. They didn't know what they said. The latest report was that he's going to be out for at least 3 more games, and he hasn't been able to take part in any practices. So they've been pretty honest about it. They never said that they never said anything about it other than the fact that he wasn't going to be available for at least a week, and then they take another look at him.
Right.
Nobody said anything except the jerks on television. Anyway, got the Preakness. I talked to the trainer of Bourbon War. They're going to make an equipment adjustment to get him out of the gate a little quicker. He said that the speed is for number 1 and 3, and he's in the 2 spot. He said they'll break in front of him, create space for him. He's going to have an ideal trip out of post 2. And he's training great. He told me he looked at film of number 7 horse, always mining, who I wasn't sure about because he's only run at Laurel. That's where all his wins are. He said he's a very good horse, so you may want to consider him for your gimmicks. But anyway, I asked him who he worries about. He said Owendale, number 5, who was 2 out of 3 this year. And you have to respect, I guess, the backer horse, who is, he sees the class of the race. So, but I like this 2 horse a lot. I talked to Mark Henning, the trainer, and he said the horse is training great. So let's see what happens. I have Koepka, who got off to a good start in the PGA. The guy who made him run at him yesterday flopped today already. 6 over.
Oh, really?
And so we'll see what Koepka does today. But 7 under yesterday was a tremendous start. And I got him at 9-1. I guess he went down to 6-1 at post time.
Yeah, they're finally catching up to him as being a pretty damn good golfer. It's amazing how they talk about everybody else all the time, and here's a guy that just keeps dominating in the majors. I have him as well. I got a pretty good play on him as myself.
Well, Johnson is making a run. He's a serious contender. He got up to 5 under and took a bogey, but he's still a guy to be reckoned with over 4 days. There are some guys who are at 1 and 2 under. Patrick Cantlay, who I also took a play on, he's playing well today, and I think he's either 2 or 3 under, and he's a steady player. He'll be a factor. So, they got a long way to go. I guess besides that, there's the NBA. I said that I thought that those 2 guards would show up and that Golden State wouldn't have such an easy time yesterday, but they came back and won. They didn't cover, but I loved the over last night, and the reason I liked it was I thought McCullers would have a big game, and that they were just tired and worn out, and couldn't really. I thought that the first game in that series was a total throwout, but there was some competitive games in that series.
And then we got the Raptors against the Bucks. I mean, that was a big, that was a shocking ending, and a bad beat for anybody that had the Raptors plus 6.5 or 6. The only time
I don't expect that guy for the Raptors to have a game like he had. He was unconscious. He couldn't miss.
Well, Lowry's that was the best game I've ever seen Lowry play.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the best game he's ever played. That's why. I don't expect another game like that out of him.
Well, I would say that's true. I mean, he and Leonard both had, 30-ish or whatever it was, and but the Bucks.
Well, actually, they did a nice job on Leonard in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they did. They did slow him down the last few minutes for sure. And he, fatigue is when you get a player that has to carry a team for so long. Fatigue does get to you, and this has been a long grind. But these players, the talent is amazing. These guys are really incredibly good. It's fun to watch.
I'll tell you one thing that last night's game showed me. At some point, they're going to need the guy that everybody says they don't need. And I don't know when he's going to be available, if at all, like you said.
Well, there's no question.
Talking about Durant, of course.
Yeah, if they move on and have to play Milwaukee, especially a deep team like that, without him, it might show up there because. We'll show up there because Milwaukee is, in my opinion, Milwaukee's far better than Portland. So if they end up with that kind of a series, it could be very difficult without Durant. Although I know the style is different, but it's tough. I mean, they got Cousins and Durant out. I mean, they're two big cogs in the wheel. I know they're winning, but. I think they're stronger in that final series with Durant on the floor as well. So I agree with you. I have to mention, Hank, the World Series of Poker starts next week, and that is a huge event for Las Vegas. Millions and millions of dollars and 500,000 poker players come to town, and all the venues in town will have big events. So if you're a poker player, this is the place to be. Come on out to Las Vegas. I don't know if you have any interest in poker at all, Hank, or follow it at all, but I do play in all of those events, so it's a big time for Vegas and for a lot of us.
Well, I used to watch a lot of poker years ago when I was working for the Greek. Because he used to play with all the big guys like Buggy Pearson, Doyle Brunson. They used to have some great card games over at the Dunes, and they played for days at a time. And it was fascinating to watch those guys. They were some. Those were the days when they first started the poker tournament downtown. When they first started televising the event, and Jimmy was on the telecast. Tom Brookshire was the host of the show with Jimmy. Jimmy was up in his room one day before the telecast. Brookshire called him up. He said, "Jimmy, you gotta come down here." He said, "There's all kinds of women around." Jimmy said, "Geez," he says, I haven't had sex since November." And Brookshire said, "What year?"
Oh, that's a great line. What year? There aren't too many of those old guys left anymore. Doyle is still around. I know he's had some poor health in recent years, but he's still amongst us, and he's a great guy, for one. I know him, and unbelievable player. You don't see him much in the tournament world anymore because those events are too long, but he does play a lot of cash games. But yeah, sports and poker, that's pretty much my life.
Okay.
Hank, I know you're busy this weekend. You got a lot of stuff going on. Anything you want to cover before we sign off?
Not really. I think, between the PGA and what's going on with that and what's going on with the Preakness, that's my weekend.
Okay, well, Hank, we'll talk to you next week, Monday. We'll cover everything. I'm going to continue here and talk a little bit longer about some baseball and give a couple free picks to the players. I'm going to try to do that a little bit every day and let them know that when they tune into the podcast, you can not only get our plays at jimfice.com, but we'll give you some free plays along the way when you listen in. And I know, Hank, you just kind of gave out a lot of free information on horse racing, so I'm not asking you to do any more than that. But you gave a lot of very insightful free information on the Preakness, and thanks for that. But,
you won't get that information anywhere else. Anyway, I've been following the Chicago and New York teams in baseball, and it's not doing too bad. Anyway, I got to run, Jim.
Okay, so we'll talk to you. I'm going to continue with the podcast, but we'll talk to you on Monday. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, Hank. Let's look at the, well, like Hank said, he's been following the Cubs. That's an interesting matchup today. Hamels against Scherzer. The game opened 124, and Scherzer's their favorite, and now it's up to 146, 148. So there's a lot of money coming in on Washington. And the Cubs are pretty tough to lay that kind of a price to because, Hamels is pretty good. He's a left-handed pitcher, tough guy, and you're laying $1.50 almost against him. That's I'm not going to do that. If I do anything there, I look for dogs, but I'm not laying those kind of numbers. I know Scherzer's an amazing pitcher, but we'll go down the road here. DeGrom is going up against Miami. Miami's absolutely terrible team, 10-31 on the season. DeGrom's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Now, I don't ever lay prices. You rarely see me lay a price over 140. DeGrom is 211 over Miami and Richards. Any team can win at any time. We all know that. But I'm going to lay DeGrom minus 1.5 runs. I think that's the right way to go with it. If they win by one, you lose your bet. But I have way the better team, way the better pitcher, and Miami is definitely the worst team in baseball. You got go down to the American League. You got Tampa with a starter with what they call the guy that starts the game is a reliever. Stanek is an amazing, throws the ball very hard, usually pitches one inning. Sometimes you'll get him into the second inning. The Yankees with Sabathia are 116 to 120 over Tampa there. I expect that game to be very close and low scoring. So that's why I'm looking at that game. We've got some other good matchups in baseball as well. You got an interleague game between St. Louis and Texas. Miklos against Leclerc. Miklos adds a bad opener. They opened at 166. That's way too expensive. It's really a 130, 138 game. Miklos the favorite. So there's some. Then we got the big game tonight with Milwaukee and Toronto. I'm going to have probably two plays on that game, probably a side and a total. That'll be up at jimfice.com. We're going to be covering some WSOP events. We're going to look at the odds to win the main event as that goes along and might give you some insight on that. The best players in the world and a lot of a lot of people want to be best players in the world, and there's going to be a lot of dead money. Now, this is the 50th year of the WSOP, and they have a special event. The first, I think it starts on the 30th. It's the 4 days, so it's ABCD. You can get into that. It's $500, no juice on the first buy-in, so usually it would be $550. It's only $500 for the first, but you can rebuy, re-enter, and in those it'll be $550 to enter. But there's a $5 million pot with $1 million to the first prize. I will be playing in that, and I'll be playing in other events around Las Vegas for the summer. So the summer for me is going to be betting baseball and playing poker. And from time to time, if anybody sends me a request and they want to get on the action with me by buying a spot, I wouldn't charge a lot for that. A lot of people will charge like on a $10,000 entry, they might say, well, 10% will cost you $1,200. I would not do that. I'm not that quality of a player to do that, but I might charge $1,050, so which would be like half of, instead of 1.1 or it's a 1.05 or one, so to get 10%. I might do that if I play in the main event. I might announce that. But if anybody's ever interested in that, just send me a note on Twitter or Facebook, or and we'll put it together. I've cashed many times throughout the World Series and other events in Las Vegas. It's not my profession; it's more of an avocation, and but I enjoy doing it. Our picks for the weekend, Hank, myself, and others at jimfice.com. And have a great weekend. Let's win lots of money. We'll check back with you on Monday. I might start doing some updates throughout the weekend if there's major things going on. Now, the thing with golf, you can bet matchups each and every day in golf, and I might spot a couple up there. And I won't put them online for sale, but I'll just send out a podcast, and you can look for that, and I'll give you some free picks on the golf matchups as we go forward. Koepka, in my opinion, is far and away the best player at this point, but in these majors, especially, he was right there, finished second in the Masters. Tiger, of course, came through there. I'm not a big fan of Tiger. Let me put it another way. Tiger is a lot older now. And yes, everything worked out in the Masters, and he slipped through the cracks, and Molinari and the other guys and Koepka fell down a little bit and opened the doors for him to get in there. And he did get up to 14 under, and he won it by 13 under, and that was great. He's still a great player. But to make him a favorite over these guys is the wrong thing to be doing. And he's 44 years old. He's not the same guy he used to be. I don't think the consistency will be there. Right now, you want to bet him? At the start of today, he was 40 to 1. Should be 150 to 1. The public is overpricing Tiger. That is not a good wager. Now, you might take him in head-to-head matchups against other players that you might feel he has an advantage over. But the prices on Tiger, he is way overrated. You're not getting your money's worth. And that's in my opinion. But anyway, we'll talk to you again on Monday. jimfice.com for anything you need for sports. My job and Hank's job and the rest of us, we want to make you money. We want you to win. And we will be giving free advice on these podcasts on a daily basis as we go forward, especially when we get to football. And have a good one. Stay well, and we'll talk soon.